What's going on, y'all? Welcome into the Brown Table. Please take a seat. In case you have no idea who I am, my name is Josh Halprin, and today I'm going to be taking you through post week one, a little bit of a mock draft. So I'm using the Pro Football Network NFL mock draft simulator. Big shout outs to them. They don't know I'm using this, but big ups anyways. Very interesting week one. If you haven't seen the recap video yet, I highly recommend that you go check it out. And this draft order is completely projected based off of what we saw week one. So let's hop into it, right? Look, I'm Panthers, man. What are you doing? If there's one thing I think is clear about the Panthers, it's that they need help literally everywhere. Like I said it in yesterday's video. I don't think that you can really I don't really think that he's done enough to solidify himself into that position because there's not really any pieces around him. So who can really blame him? With that being said, though, you know the Panthers are bad everywhere, which means you go BPA, best player available, James Pierce. People are forgetting how much of a dog this guy is. This dude, let's take a look at him real quick. 6'5", 242. Here are his strengths, weaknesses. Very, huge production at Tennessee. He looks to only get better this year, and I really like him as a. I also don't really think you can justify taking a wide receiver, a quarterback, or corner number one overall. And Carson Beck hasn't really done enough to me, or done it. Oh my God, not enough to me. Hasn't really done enough to show me that he's really worth replacing Bryce Young with. So maybe Cam Ward slips his way up in there, but it could happen, but I don't think it will as of right now. James Pierce Jr. number one. Now the Giants. Giants are in my opinion here, a pretty good trade down spot, but I'm not doing any trades. So, man, I hate to take Carson Beck here, so I'm not going to. Where do they have some quarterbacks ranked for here? Well, they got Cam Ward all the way down at 70. Whoa. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot in the dark here. Give me Jackson Dart. This dude, I've been following him for a very long time, since he was at USC. A lot of people might not know this, but he was at USC before he was at Ole Miss, and then Caleb Williams came in and he transferred to Ole Miss because Caleb Williams, was kind of that guy. And he's really balled out at Ole Miss. He hasn't done anything, in my opinion at least, that show that he shouldn't be rated. I'd obviously take this with a grain of salt because the first thing that I said is that New York should absolutely trade down here. They need way too many pieces, and they're at just such a high draft position to where they could, trade back and potentially get three first overall picks. Not first overall, first round. They could potentially get 3 first round picks for, pick 2 in this year's draft and trade down. I don't know if they traded down with some team that really, really felt the need to get one of these receivers and jump up to take a receiver second, a team like the Patriots maybe, or the Commanders. Definitely the Commanders could be a spot because they literally only have Scary Terry. But if I got to take a quarterback here because I'm not doing trades, I got to go Jackson Dart. All right, let's look Broncos. Analysis is saying that they need to firm up those offensive and defensive fronts, but I don't really know based off of what I'm seeing. Actually, yeah, I hate to say it, but Mason Graham's got to go. This guy is such a dog. This guy is crazy good. We look at the measurables, 6'3", 318, huge. This guy's just such a weapon, such a utility guy. I personally think a lot of Kenny Clark when I look at him because this guy, problem in the run, problem in the pass. He will be in the backfield no matter what. He will be making a play no matter what. He will be getting his name called by those announcers on who made the tackle no matter what. He's not going to wow you with any strip fumbles or anything like that, but his sacks might not be that high either, but this guy is good. Let's look Patriots. Patriots probably have their answer at quarterback. I don't think they'd take a quarterback here. I think that would be absolutely ridiculous. They're saying edge, cornerback, and defensive tackle. They would have probably loved to take Graham here, but that doesn't look like they were. They weren't able to do that. Jewel Carter, maybe. I don't know. What am I thinking? You got to go Will Johnson right here. Will Johnson every day of the week. A lot of people forget that they took. Even I'm forgetting what they took. What's that corner's name? They took him 2 years ago in the first round. Somebody commented. But if they paired him with Will Johnson, who's arguably one of the best corners, him and Travis Hunter, I think, are two of the best corners I've ever seen, like really coming out of the draft. Okuda. He's up there with those like Sauce Gardner, Stingley, just like absolute game changing guys that Will Johnson is going to come in and he's going to immediately make an impact. He did it at Michigan. I see no reason why he wouldn't do it in New England. Let's look Commanders here. Commanders are taking. Do they want Burton or McMillan? McMillan, you got the height. Burton, you got the speed. They're going to go McMillan here, and I'll tell you why. All right? I was talking about this yesterday in our video, but it is so important for receiving corps in the NFL today to have, receivers that aren't just good, but are good at different things. You've got a guy, Terry McLaurin, who can absolutely dominate in terms of yak and in terms of being a deep threat, but I don't know if he's your number one 50-50 guy. That's why you bring in McMillan, brother of Jalen McMillan, who was in last year's draft, and I'm forgetting who he was drafted by, but I'm pretty sure it was in the third round. Somebody comment it, please. Or I'll look it up after this and, be pretty disappointed in myself. But either way, my point still stays of this guy is going to bring a different level to your offense, especially with Jaden Daniels already being so versatile. I think that he adds a new layer of just something that they need, and it'd be awesome for them. All right, Tennessee. Tennessee's got to get a quarterback after Levis is terrible. They got to go QB. But the question is who? I wish there were better quarterbacks this year. Shedeur, I'm not sold on. I'm curious how he's going to do without his dad being his coach. Milroe, I don't know. Because Tennessee's just got holes everywhere. They just have nothing. I'm going to go a different take here, actually. Just kind of thinking out loud. They don't have a quarterback. I personally love building through the trenches. So if you can get a guy who's on their offensive line, nobody like all that notable, I don't think. They're going Kelvin Banks here. You get an offensive lineman that's going to stay there and going to do wonders for you. And, like we saw it with Joe Alt. That's the entire reason that you take an offensive lineman this high instead of taking an exciting player, because those guys are going to be the guys that make not so exciting players more exciting and able to make plays. What's the thing that you can do to help out Levis the most besides give him weapons is give him time. So why would you not give your quarterback the maximum amount of time possible to make a play and get the ball to where it needs to go? Raiders, what are we thinking? I feel like you got to go Malachi Starks here. But, oh no, you got to go Travis Hunter. Enough said. Travis is such a dog. This guy, dog. He's been his TikTok is pretty weird for how high of a recruit he is. It's sometimes weird to imagine that these guys are just like normal dudes, but like with him as a player, like man, this guy's good. He plays so many snaps for Colorado. Say what you want about Dion, but Travis literally couldn't have been coached by a better guy for him. You have easily a top 3 cornerback in the NFL ever as your head coach, and you're coming out of high school as the number 1 player in the nation. as, that dude at corner, and you're getting coached by another guy who was seen as that dude at corner, and yeah, he's just a dog. Like Raiders need playmakers. Travis Hunter's got playmaker written all over him. All right, let's look Cardinals. What are we thinking, Cardinals? What are we thinking, Birds? Hmm. I feel like for as exciting as Burton would be, it's not like their number one need. I feel like they would go Deion Walker here. Because you're getting a guy out of Kentucky. His measurables are pretty good, if I remember correctly. 6'6", 348. Dude is huge and still moves like crazy. Going to be a solid guy for you for decade. Yeah. I don't really have much to say there. Season is still early, and I'm not 100% caught up on all my tape. So takes will get better as the season progresses. And as I get better at making these videos, because I'm also looking at this thing a lot on my computer when I should be looking here at the camera, and it's just me getting used to stuff. This is only the third video, so it's going to get better. Let's jump back into this, though. Colts, what are we thinking? What are we thinking, Indy? Okay, here you got to go Malachi Starks. That makes so much sense. Georgia safety, dude is an absolute beast. Georgia safeties are very, very, what's the word? I don't want to say hardworking. I want to say like hard nosed. Like they'll get dirty. They'll do the work, and this guy should hopefully be helping out a lackluster Colts defense, Colts secondary. Vikings. What are we thinking, Vikings? I'm surprised that Luther Burton is still here, but they really don't need him. They got to go Benjamin Morrison. This guy, 6 foot, 186 out of Notre Dame. He's got some pretty. Am I able to not have this there? That'd be really, really cool. It doesn't look like I can. The only thing that's really lacking with him is his size. Because of his size, he gets outmatched sometimes, but he's got a lot of heart, a lot of immeasurable heart, and a lot of immeasurable talent that I don't really think is going to stop him. In terms of a guy's measurables aren't really all that, in my opinion. I think you see Morrison sitting here, if you're the Vikings, and you're like, oh my God, another defensive gem just fell into our laps, just like what happened last year with Dallas Turner. So I don't really think that they take any second thought to it. And you screw over the Bucks, which is pretty fun. Because who are they going? They need corners, linebackers, edges, and wide receiver. What are we thinking? Harold Perkins would be such a dog here. I really like that. Harold Perkins from LSU, former 5-star. He doesn't have to travel too far to make it to Tampa. But I really like how his game would match with Vita Vea. I think that they would work really, really well together. And I'm if that actually happens, I'd be pretty excited to see what Harold Perkins can do in Tampa, because they don't have Devin White anymore. So it'd be kind of cool to see. Saints, edge, offensive tackle, offensive guard. Yeah, they're going Abdul Carter here, pretty straightforward. Abdul Carter, 6'3", 250 out of Penn State. Penn State's kind of not known for their edge prospects, but they've been turning out a few. Over the past, little bit. Let's keep it moving, though. Browns, what are we thinking? I'm going Emory Jones here. Actually, yeah, I'm going Emory Jones here, I think. 6'6", 322, elite size. Really solidifies a lot of issues that the Browns are having, because they let in a lot of pressure on their washed quarterback, Deshaun Watson. So let's keep it moving. Seattle Seahawks says they need edge, safety, and linebacker. If Harold Perkins doesn't go to the Bucks, seeing him on the Seahawks would also be pretty cool. A new Legion of Boom would be cool. Maybe he rejuvenates Jamal Adams' career if he's still there. I'm not sure if he is or not. I'm not the most informed on Nick Scorton. I definitely need to do a little bit more research on him, but he's ranked pretty highly here, so might as well. If they need the edge, And like they're known for taking these kind of guys. I feel like these kind of CC guys. Okay, if I'm the Steelers here, just being totally truthful, I am taking Luther Burton and I am not looking back. I have no idea how I let him fall that far. I kind of think that wide receiver is kind of a luxury and that all these other, if you're picking higher in the draft, you definitely have bigger needs than just best player available. And there are just so many good receivers in the league now, they're not really giving up their spots. But having a receiving core of Luther Burton, George Pickens, and Roman Wilson, three receivers who do three different things very, very well, I think gives the Steelers a very, very smart offense. There's a lot of stuff that Arthur Smith can do. He can, you're getting more players for Arthur Smith to make sure that Fryermuth doesn't get the ball, because he hates giving the ball to his tight ends apparently. So you take that pick and you don't look back. That's my take. Simple as that. All right, let's move into the Jags. They need offensive tackle, corner, offensive guard. What are we thinking of? Well, you got to go Will Campbell here. You got to go Will Campbell. Will Campbell's a guy that could rise to be a lot higher. I think him and Emory Jones are pretty interchangeable. I feel like, another offensive tackle at LSU, really, really good size, really, really good everything. Super, super happy with. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars just take that, and you're like, you got more time, Trevor. Like, do something with it, please. And then take a receiver in the second round and really, really solidify and help him out. Moving on, Chargers. Chargers need, according to this, corners, defensive tackles, center, and edge. You're going. I think you got to go Siobhan here. Oh. Apparently he doesn't weigh anything yet, or like he hasn't decided how tall he wants to be either, apparently. Yeah, let's do it. He's rated high for some reason, right? Bears, they're going to take the absolute worst player that they possibly could in Carson Beck. No, they're not doing that. Sorry for tricking you. I don't know. They need an edge. Ooh, Michael Williams might be a solid play here. Yeah, Michael Williams. Enough said. Need an edge, got an edge, develop him. Haven't really scouted him much. Falcons. The Falcons getting Mbuka here would be so awesome. Mbuka would have been a first rounder last year. He wanted to solidify himself as a better receiver in the class because last year's wide receiver class was absolutely loaded, including his teammate Marvin Harrison. 6'1", 206. He's been an absolute dog at Ohio State his entire career, the former 5-star. I mean, Falcons take him, you're getting a smart player, and then you don't really need to worry about it anymore. He's very plug and play, I feel like. Keeping it moving with Green Bay. Green Bay, what are we thinking? It says they need defensive tackle and corner. And 2 running backs, apparently. They could go Tyleik Williams. Denzel Burke could be a shout. What are we thinking? We're going to go Tyleik Williams simply because of depth. Because they got corners, We're Green Bay's chilling at corners. They're fine. Rams, what are we thinking? Low-key, this could be a really, really good Carson Beck spot. And I say that because he's not going to be asked to do much. Carson Beck needs to sit behind a veteran quarterback and develop. Matthew Stafford gives him that opportunity. Do what the Packers do and get a guy into the tank to generate. All right, don't treat him as a red shirt for his first few years. All right, he doesn't need to play right now. Just let him just like stay safe. Just protect your little Becky boy. All right, Dolphins. What are we thinking? They definitely don't need a wide receiver. Defensive tackle could be cool here. Offensive tackle could be cool here. Getting Tyler Booker here might be the move. I think, yeah. You go with the best offensive guard in the draft and don't look back. Easy. All right, Bengals. I think if you're the Bengals and you see a guy like Evan Stewart sitting here that just compliments Jamar Chase just so well, he's not exactly gonna blow you away with his. They're saying he's rack. That's what his game is. He runs after the catch. He's not exactly going to go up and get you your 50-50 balls, and he's not going to blow anybody out of the water with his speed, I don't think. Yeah, Bengals, Evan Stewart, match made in heaven. Taken, don't look back. I'm going to say it happens to Rodgers again. And it's funny because it's the Jets, and they have just such great history with drafting quarterbacks. I'm sure Shador would love to go there. And I'm sure he'd let us hear all about how much he'd love to go there. But he's in that same boat as Beck. None of these quarterbacks, in my opinion, except for a guy like Dart or a guy like really just Dart, is ready to start right away. You throw Shador Sanders in the tank for a year while Aaron Rodgers is still playing out the last years of his career, and you let Shador marinate a little bit and get angry because he plays better when he's angry. All right, let's move into this last final little wave. Why don't we? 25 with the Bills. Bills need edge, wide receiver. Ooh, they might be a little annoyed that Evan Stewart is gone. They might just be. What wide receivers are still available? Bond, Tez Johnson. Okay, isn't Isaiah Bond at Texas? I feel like he transferred to Texas. But either way, well, apparently everything is coming soon. But he does have a height and weight. Thank God. It's just everything else that we don't know. We don't have any analysis on him, which means that I need to go off of what I saw from him last year, which is that he is. He caught that pass against Auburn, and I like him as more of a yak guy, more of a yards after catch guy. Which is definitely not what Keon Coleman is. So if they really want to start building this the right way, Isaiah Bond should be the pick here for the Bills. Okay, where are we looking for Cowboys? Honestly, the Cowboys getting Alshon Jenti would be so broken. Alshon Jenti would legitimately be so scary on this offense with the way that he's played over the past 2 weeks. I'd be pretty scared of that, which is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Genti has put up 300, 400 yards within the first 2 weeks of the season at Boise. He's an absolute dog. I think there's if Dallas can get him, he just adds such a different level of threat to that offense, which is already so good. That could definitely be scary. Texans, from one Texas team to the other. Texans, what are we thinking? Denzel Burke. If I gotta choose. The reason I'm doing this is because Denzel Burke has been a very good corner at Ohio State for a very long time, and I don't know. Who else do they have playing corner besides Stingley? They don't really have much else going for them there. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you get Burke, you get yourself another guy in there, another dog in there. Just a solid all around corner that hasn't exactly hit his ceiling yet. I don't think. He could still get better. Next, looking at the Eagles, they need linebacker, edge, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, and they do not need wide receivers, man. They do not. But I'm thinking Princely here, Princely or Barrett Carter. You go with the lean athletic guy, who's who's got more room to add mass apparently, or do you go with Barrett Carter, who uh, lacks strength? I think you go with the guy who's kind of scouted to like become stronger. Not, if you want a guy rushing the passer, he better be pretty strong. And I've got full confidence that the Eagles will be able to develop him into something better. All right, Ravens. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? Hmm. Raven. I don't really think that they need. They could use more secondary. Actually, that could be kind of a sick pull. Could be kind of a sick pull to give them somebody like Takario Davis or like a what am I? Barrett Carter's got to go here. You get trained. Yeah, he's gone. What am I thinking? You get trained up by what's it? You get trained up by Roquan Smith because I think personally the Barrett and Roquan are pretty similar players, going to be used pretty similarly. So you get Roquan to kind of take him under his wing, and then you let them cook and you let them get to work. Lions. Lions could really, really use some excitement when it comes to their receiving cores. They really, really need to develop that passing game. And it's because of that I'm going to keep Colston Loveland in Michigan and send him to Detroit. And I'm doing that for one reason and one reason only. And people that know me like actually know that I have have this opinion. I think Colston Loveland and Sam Laporta would be an elite tandem for tight ends. Colson Loveland might have fumbled this week. I go to state. You can see that on my flag. But he is such a good tight end. He is so versatile after the catch. You can just scheme him in so many ways. He is the receiving threat while you can move Laporta to be more blocking, more like short yardage, and then you can have Loveland really stretch the defense. And if you had both of them on at the same time, I don't know how you're going to stop both of them. But that's just me. I think that Colston Loveland might be a good pick, but like let me know what you think. Let me know with all these picks what you think. I'd love to know what everybody's thinking and actually turn this into a conversation. I think that'd be really fun. Sam Fran, offensive tackle, corner, defensive tackle. I think they're going Kenneth Grant here. This is a guy who could go way earlier. Hate to double up on the Michigan guys, go green, but yeah, I mean Kenneth Grant could go way sooner. Him and Mason Graham are a pretty good tandem of threats, and Kenneth Grant I don't think has the same size. Yeah, 6'3", 339. He is big, but like not elite size. Can be a bit heavy footed. You got eyes, you can read it just as well as I can. But I don't really think there's a lot that San Francisco can do to get better. I think it'd be cool if they took one of these running backs to tandem with CMC, but if they found that guy in, what's his name? The guy that, like, the undrafted free agent that, like, balled out on Monday. Like, San Fran is fine no matter who they take. Whoever they take is probably going to be good. I can't really predict that. I can just predict that they're going to be good. Kansas City is going to take Judkins. And dang it. Where's Kansas City? They're there. Well, there we go. These are the full results, but I've got them going with him simply because, like, dude, how could you not? I mean, like, did anybody play with him in NCAA or with EACFB? Did you see that spin move? This guy is like literally the same thing as when they took Worthy. Like he's just another weapon. Like no brainer. But anyways, This is my full mock draft for week one. I plan on doing one of these every single Wednesday, so be prepared for those to come out. And thank you for watching. Please let me know if you have any uh, questions, comments, anything. I'd love to hear everybody's opinion in the comments or on Instagram. Um, please be a part of the conversation. We want you to. That's the whole point of Roundtable. So, with that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.